Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network. Welcome to Gun Sports Radio, all about shooting, hunting, self-defense, and more. Now, here are the hosts of Gun Sports Radio, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome. We are here to support you and your sport. Gun Sports Radio Show 107. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram. You can even email us if you want. Go to gunsportsradio.com and just let us know. Hey, also, Gun Range San Diego. Oh, my gosh, what would we do without them? 7853 Balboa Avenue, best gun range in San Diego. The Nordstroms of gun ranges, to be exact. Need to check them out. Just not the price. 7 days a week, 10 to 10, family-owned and operated. They love first-time shooters, and they embrace the pros. Check them out, Gun Sports Radio. Well, we got Lance in the house. We got Michael Schwartz and Hollywood.
Dave.
All in a circle. And, Michael, you have a special guest with us today?
I have a very special guest. Wendy from San Diego County Gun Owners. She's the executive administrator for San Diego County Gun Owners. Has been extremely busy lately, but one of the very cool things that she did is on Monday she went down and visited everybody's favorite agricultural board that oversees the fairgrounds there at Del Mar. And so I wanted her to come on the line and talk about what she did and how it all went. Wendy, are you there?
Hey, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So tell everybody what the purpose of your visit to the agricultural board was.
So I went to the board meeting earlier this week to present 30 letters that San Diego County gun owners collected from city council members and mayors all across the county, including Santee, Chula Vista, Lemon Grove, Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos, Escondido, bunch of cities all across the county.
Yep. City of San Diego, all over the county. It was awesome. And what did the letters say? Or, what's an example, or what were the point of the letters?
The letters pointed out that the fairgrounds is a state-owned regional asset, and that the constituents of the city council members and mayors that were writing these letters were people who used that asset, and that they have just as much right to be there as anyone in Del Mar or Solana Beach does. So they all supported keeping the gun show at the fairgrounds. Right.
For those out there that have been living in a cave for the past year or so and haven't seen the papers or listening to the show, the fairgrounds the board is thinking of canceling the gun show that's been here for 30 years, 5 shows a year. They're thinking of canceling it because a small group of extremist activists, Delmartians, are trying to get rid of it. And they actually got the city of Del Mar to pass a resolution saying, we as a city don't want the gun show there. So it's getting really bad, and people think, it's not going anywhere. I got news for you. I think if the vote were taken tomorrow, I think the gun show would be in bad shape. I think there's a very real possibility that those board members will vote against it.
And there's 9 people on that council?
9 people not elected but appointed by the governor.
And 8 of them are Democrat.
Well, how bad is it if they leave Del Mar?
Well, so there are other. The problem is they need for a gun show 80,000 square feet of usable space and 1,200 parking places. How many venues across the county can accommodate?
Yeah,
them?
Scottish Rite won't do it.
So it's really, really difficult. But so what we've done is we've gotten hundreds of people to show up, at an agricultural board meeting. We did our $10,000 gun show challenge, showing that, hey, of course they're abiding by the law. We've done all these things to show that they have a really broad support. And this latest that Wendy did is she presented, these 30 30 sign letters from different city council members across the county, showing that yes, we as a representative of our city, an elected representative, we support the gun show, and Del Mar shouldn't have more of a say in what goes on there than any other city. Now, what else went on there, Wendy?
Well, we also pointed out several past political contributions from each of the board members. There were a lot of large campaign contributions to anti-gun causes and anti-gun candidates. So we just wanted to point out that, they need to make the decision based on the law and be fair and objective rather than use their anti-gun bias to make the decision about whether or not the gun show should stay.
So some of the ag board members made, considerably high contributions to anti-gun politicians, but also to, for example, Prop 63, right?
Mm-hmm. Prop 63, even Mayor Filner, who we all love.
Yeah. Disgraced. You always have to say disgraced. Bob Filner.
Former Mayor Bob Filner. There were multiple candidates that have championed anti-gun legislation that these board members have made contributions to.
And now when you went up and said, hey, here are 30 letters from city council members and mayors across the county, and you said, and we're concerned with your political contributions clouding your ability to be unbiased, when you pointed this out to the agriculture. By the way, she did this at an agricultural board meeting. It was during the public comment section where they're not allowed to respond. So they're not allowed. There's no back and forth.
And she got, 3 minutes?
You get 3 minutes. You can say anything you want. But unless it's on the agenda, it can't be discussed. So when you went up there and gave your 3 minutes and pointed all this out and told them, hey, here are the letters, what was the response like, Wendy?
So there was some angry waving at each other. They kind of were gesturing towards each other about who is this girl and what does she think she's doing. But that's correct. I mean, the public comment, because they aren't agenda items and they haven't given public notice about the topics that are being presented in the public comment section, they're not allowed to respond. However, President Shoemaker, who has been very vocal against the gun show, insisted on clarifying that these letters, despite the fact that they were signed as city council members and mayors, and they were on letterhead, city letterhead, that he insisted that these were just letters from individuals and that they did not mean anything.
Unreal.
So I pointed out that, again, these are letters on letterhead.
Did you tell him to shut up?
Just about, man. Wait till you see the video. I mean, she pushed right back.
Awesome.
I'd have just said, hey, shut up. It's my time.
She did a fantastic job, but it was extremely rude, very unprofessional of the president. And I think it was really indicative of the problem, that the gun show is facing there. So, but you did tell them what you said, Wendy.
Just that they signed on behalf of their constituents as a city council member and a mayor. I mean, it literally says, so-and-so city council member. So that indicates that they're signing on behalf of their constituents.
That's right. If you want to see that video of Wendy giving her presentation, if you want to read more about it, we have it up on our Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/SDCGO, or if you go to our website, San Diego County Gun Owners, and look under the media section, we have that posted so you can actually see Wendy give her statement, and you can read more about it. You can read our press release. But it's pretty bad. It's getting pretty bad for that gun show. So, Wendy, when are they going to actually make the decision?
So their decision goes to a vote at the board meeting on September 11th. So we need everybody's help. We want as many people there as possible to show our support in favor of the gun show.
Yep, September 11th at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. It starts at 1:30. But man,
starts at 1:30. Yeah, I mean, when I was there earlier this week, it took 4 hours to get through the agenda. So make plans to be there all afternoon. We do not know where it will be on the agenda yet, but rest assured they will make us wait as long as they could.
Well, there you go. That's being real American. All right, kid. Hey, we appreciate you taking time out of your day
to
do this for us.
Great job, Wendy.
Hey, folks, check out Triton Gunsmithing. If you need to get your gun worked on, upgraded, tricked out, hot-rodded, TritonGunsmithing.com, TritonGunsmithing.com. Call them at 858-577-0576. Tell Juan and Dan we said hi. Right here on AM 1170, The Answer. Folks, hey, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. We are The Answer. Hey, do you or any of your family members have a firearm or other weapons for personal protection? Well, do you plan to get a CCW? Well, what would happen if you got pulled over and maybe you got arrested for whatever reason? What are you going to do? Well, what you're going to do is spend $10 for firearms legal protection, and they will take care of you. Go to firearmslegal.com, firearmslegal.com. For $10, they'll cover the whole family, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can rest assured you'll never have a problem again when it comes to protecting your Second Amendment rights. You can call them at 469-310-9100, and make sure you mention it, that you heard it right here on Gun Sports Radio. That's what keeps us on air. Alrighty now. Have we got Mr. Dillon on the line? By the way, folks, if you ever need a amazing lawyer, Gasky, Dillon and Balance, LLP. We got John Dillon on the line. This guy is amazing. If you need any help at all when it comes to the legal aspects, cafirearmslaw.com. Go to cafirearmslaw.com. Or you can call John at 760-431-9501. The call is free. You can send him an email for free. There's no charge unless he has to start doing paperwork. And if he's got to start doing paperwork.
And, you know, we're so lucky to have John on because people look on the internet to get all these answers, and they're going to go to jail. You know, we've got John Dillon, the best guy on the planet for this, so we appreciate having John on. And you listeners out there, tell your friends.
Yeah. So what's up there, Hollywood?
Hey, you guys are too kind.
Hey, how's Grandpa?
He's doing all right. Actually went and visit him today again, so just taking care of him.
Did you take him a six-pack? Did you take him a six-pack?
Oh, of course.
There you go. That'll get him back on track.
Yeah, but I figure it's been a little while since I did a legislative update, and there are a number of bills that people should be aware of, so I figured we'd get started.
Let's do it.
So, all right. Well, there's one piece of good news, so I guess I'll start with that because good news is so rare. But we had AB 2382, which was the firearm parts legislation. That basically this piece of legislation was, and you want to talk about an extreme infringement.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Right? This would have required background checks for gun parts, and the way the language of the bill is written is essentially any gun part would require you to get a background check. So if you needed a new spring or something that was necessary for your gun's operation, have fun applying for a background check for your $2 spring. It also would have required face-to-face sales for all gun parts, so there'd be no more purchasing gun parts online. It would have put age restrictions on firearm accessories. So like scopes, you'd have to be either 18 or 21 to do that. It would have required FFLs to get an additional license to sell gun parts because the license to sell firearms would not have been enough. The great news is that was actually held in committee, so it is no longer going forward at this time, so that's gone.
Nice. That's huge.
That's really big.
That's enormous. So the bill that was going to make you go through a background check to basically buy any kind of part for your gun, any replacement part, anything for your trigger, all that ridiculous stuff, that bill is dead. That's huge.
Yeah, this was one of the most scary bills written in a long time. It would have effectively completely gutted the Second Amendment in California wholeheartedly.
How did it get defeated?
So, a lot of people voiced opposition. I know Firearms Policy Coalition did a lot of work in creating a campaign against it and voicing a lot of, firearms owners' opinions through their website, and they offer an easy way to kind of sign your name to opposition letters when bad law goes through the legislature. So I know they did a lot of work on that, and they're very proud to have stopped that or been part of stopping that. I do want to caveat that, though, this is California, so even though this, bill should be dead, our legislature likes to waive these normal rules, and they quote-unquote amend this dead language into active bills. So we still have a number of active gun control bills that were passed recently through the Senate and committees and all that. So there's still a chance they could try to do some shady stuff and get the language in there. So people need to stay alert and pay attention to all this stuff. The other bills that I do want to tell you that did pass in some of the committees was AB 2888. This was to expand the persons who can petition for a gun violence restraining order. So it would allow employers, coworkers, and some school employees to be able to petition to get your firearms confiscated from you before trial, before any due process, just because they have a bad feeling or you said something that they didn't like. Right now, it's essentially restricted to immediate family members or police that are able to petition for these gun violence restraining orders. So expanding it to schools and coworkers and employees is it's scary. You think about how schools have a zero tolerance policy. If your 18-year-old senior in high school talks about how he went to the gun range one day, and a teacher who doesn't like it, doesn't like guns, hears that, well, then if this bill would pass, she could petition the court and get, his firearm confiscated from him, have to go through a whole legal battle just to restore your rights, retroactively after they've been taken from you, just because someone doesn't like guns.
Yeah, those gun violence restraining orders are pretty bad news, especially the way, John, you and I found out firsthand the way they're being processed. There's no safety net. That's pretty bad, right? I mean, it's kind of a...
there's not. And when they can't do a gun violence restraining order, they do a 5150 hold, which is the mental health hold. And essentially, as long as the police officer says, I feel like there's a mental health problem, and they take you to the hospital, that's 5-year prohibition on owning and possessing firearms. It is getting abused in San Diego. I know firsthand. I'm working on cases regarding that. So you need to be careful with what you say, what you post on Facebook, because something as little as a picture or a meme can get you into trouble if the wrong person reads it. So on that note, there's two other ones I just want to highlight that did pass, so we need to pay attention to. It's SB 1100, that is restricts firearm sales to 21 years and older. So essentially would strip the Second Amendment rights to adults between the age of 18 and 20. So, if you're a single mom, at 19, you have no right to protect yourself with a firearm under this bill. We have 1177, which would restrict purchasing firearms to one firearm every 30 days. So at very most, someone would be able to purchase 12 firearms in a year. So they're going after, guns and possession and purchase and sales of firearms in every way they can in California. And they're not going to stop until they are told, by a court that they cannot do something. So people need to pay attention to these, and you need to voice your opposition every single time they come up. Recently I was discussing some of these laws over social media, and someone said, they're just going to bring it back, and they're just going to, they'll pass it later on. or they'll propose it again and, well, have to fight it again. It's like, yeah, we're going to have to fight it every single time. And they're going to keep coming back, and they're going to keep coming back. And every single time, you got to voice the opposition. And it's tiring, and no one wants to do that. But if you want your Second Amendment rights in California, that's what it's going to cost.
Now, the bill, if the bill passes to eliminate adults, 18, 19, 20-year-old adults from purchasing a firearm, what do you think the most likely courtroom scenario is for that bill? What do you think is in its future?
Oh, that'll be challenged immediately, and I hope to be one of the lawyers that works on that, because it's just wholeheartedly unconstitutional to try to strip the rights of people that are adults. You're a legal adult, therefore you get all the rights of an adult, and it's an absurd law. And frankly, I believe that they shouldn't even be allowed to restrict handguns to people 21 years and over. Right now, you can buy rifles or shotguns if you're 18, but you can't buy a handgun. Frankly, if you can go to war and get killed for your country, you should be able to buy a handgun. That's about it.
Do you think
you're an adult?
Do you think that if it's challenged, I think you're right. It's you're smarter than I am. I know you're right. That it'll get struck down in court at some level eventually. But don't you think that's probably going to backfire? I mean, don't you think that the result will end up being that 18, 19, and 20-year-olds will be able to buy handguns?
Yeah, well, because when they first passed the handgun law where it's 21 years and older, one of the rationales that was used is that, they can still buy rifles and shotguns, so we're not actually, infringing on the Second Amendment rights. We're just saying handguns aren't good. So, their explanation will be interesting, and yeah, that's the thing. If you are taking the ability to buy all firearms away from these people who are legal adults.
Well, and one of the things
there's no argument.
Yeah, one of the things the other side says all the time is how unreasonable gun rights people are. But the reality is the ability for adults, young adults, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to buy pistols. There's been a ban on that for decades. We haven't lifted a finger. You know what I mean? Like, we're not fighting that. I mean, I personally think that if you're an adult, you should have all the rights that an adult has. But gosh, I got to tell you, we've let that kind of stuff stand. It's the other side that truly has shown, especially in the last 5-10 years, and especially in the state of California, that what extremists they really are. I mean, truly.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who tries to tell me that, people, especially, states like California, they're not after your guns and they don't want to ban all guns, and that's not their goal. It's just common sense, safety laws. They're either, one, a liar, and they're outright lying to you, or they are woefully ignorant. And those are the only two options. You're either a liar or you have no idea what you're talking about if you try to tell me those things.
Yep.
I'm involved in this stuff. I pay attention. I watch the laws, obviously. There is no question that they want all the guns gone and out of this state. And it's so utterly clear if you pay attention that it is undeniable.
All right, buddy. Hey, you're all fired up. Now go cut the grass. You won't even need a lawnmower. Get out there with those tweezers.
All righty. Have a good one, guys.
Check them out. Gasky, Dillon, and Balance. CA, firearmslaw.com. That's where you need to be. Hey, and if you're frustrated by the new California law and the AR law looking for a cost-effective, easy solution, then all you need to do is go to Cali Key, and they can fix you right up. That's Cali, KALIKEY.com, CaliKey.com. Make sure you check it out. Up next, Hollywood is in the house. AM 1170. Yet.
Welcome back. You are listening to Gun
Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. Hey, you've heard us talk about the importance of having a great company like Firearms Legal Protection. Well, do any of your family members have a firearm? And what would you do if you got yourselves into a little bit of a sticky wicket? For $10 a month, you'll have peace of mind knowing you got a 24-hour hotline and legal representation. And I was just told John Dillon is on that legal team.
Yes, he is.
So you might be lucky enough to get the king. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com. Firearmslegal.com. 469-310-9100. Pay the $10. Go get in trouble and see if we weren't correct. They will get you out of trouble. Trust me. Lance, go do that, would you?
Hey. Real quick, tell them about that Cali key real quick. Go back to that for a second because, a lot of people are still looking for a way to, compliant their AR and don't want to take all apart. So you could just slap this Cali key in there.
And it's not that expensive.
Turns it into a bolt action and you're good to go. So make sure and check that out.
And everybody I know that's done it loves it. That's CaliKey.com, KALIKEY.com. Make sure you tell them you heard it right here on Gun Sports Radio.
You got it.
For an extra hug.
You got it.
All right. Now we have... Brought to you by the Gun Range of San Diego at 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to gunrangesandiego.com for the gun ranges of all gun ranges. I call it the Nordstroms of gun ranges, just not the price. We have Hollywood's in the house, Joe Holyfield. So, how's your butt doing, bud?
It's healing slowly.
Not as fast as you'd like.
Not anywhere close.
Have you been on another horse?
No, not since.
You want me to get you one?
Yeah.
I'll hook you up,
me,
dude.
You know me, I love
I got a sway back down the road from where I live. You don't even have to swing your leg over.
Just step over.
Just step. Sorry.
My dad always told me the best safety practice is to avoid danger in the first place. So just make sure you're out there doing everything right.
What a concept.
I know, it's weird.
Don't think I ever heard that one before. I should have been your son or your dad's son because I got to use that advice. So what's going on down at the gun range of San Diego?
Well, we get guys coming in and gals and people. I say guys is a human pronoun. And they come in, and we have such a wide selection down there, and people come in and they'll ask, why is this AR, $700, $800, and this one over here is $2,000? And
that's a good question.
Yeah. So a lot of times it comes down to just brand name. Some brands are, they market a little bit better. They are just. They might have a contract with a special warfare unit or something like that, which brings their street value, whatever their cred, up a little bit. And so sometimes that's all it takes is just to have the right name. But sometimes the internal parts are different. And, everybody goes, well, this is mil spec, or this is military grade. Well, don't forget, military grade mil spec usually goes to the cheapest bidder. So
just like our government stuff.
Right, exactly. So don't get too excited about it's military grade or whatever, because sometimes these companies that are out there, they realize that they can make a better firearm, and they do. So one of the big differences that'll change how much an AR costs and how it operates is going between what's called a direct impingement and a gas piston. All AR style rifles, the M16 style rifles, M4 style rifles, they are gas operated, meaning a portion of the gas that is expelled by the propellant will return back down through what's called a gas tube and into the chamber and will cycle the action. That's what makes your bolt carrier group go back into the buttstock, in your buffer spring. And then, as part of the cycle of operation, it'll not only it'll cock it and then rechamber around. It'll unlock, cock, and then eject, and then chamber a new round and lock in again. So there's a couple of ways to do that. One is you have a tube that goes all the way back into your bolt, and it blows that gas right into your bolt carrier group, and that's called direct impingement. And that's military grade. That's what we normally use. That's what most of them are. Or you can use what's called a gas piston. Now, a piston is what like the old M14 uses. You were around back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you had your op ride and your piston.
Cannon.
It was. And that's heavy, too.
And some of these will use a piston system, and whereas the gas will escape somewhere other than your bolt carrier, your chamber, basically. And it runs a lot cleaner. And not only does it run cleaner, but it runs cooler. And the military uses this on guns that are going to be running full auto all the time, or if it's something we're going to be shooting suppressed. Because when you shoot a suppressed weapon, you put a silencer on it. All those, very little gases escape out of the end of the barrel, and they all go back through that tube. So you want to use a gas piston to stop all of that gas and heat from getting into the bolt carrier group, which is and over time it's going to gum you up. So if you're an avid shooter and you're out there and you're running, a few thousand rounds a week through your AR, then direct impingement is going to be just fine. But if you want to start modifying, put silencers on there, or you want to run 10, 20,000 rounds a week on there, it'll probably behoove you to look into what's called a piston system and put where you get a piston that's actually cycling your action versus having the gas itself blow back into the bolt carrier group.
Now, can you say, is it accurate to say that a piston system is more reliable than direct impingement, or are there too many ends?
No, it's absolutely correct to say that. A piston system is more reliable. You get less gas, less carbon, less dirt, less heat into your cycle of operation. And so it's going to run cooler, it's going to run cleaner, and it's going to run longer.
Nice.
You forgot to put your finger up, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll let you slide. I'll break it next time. Hey, I do have a question. Now, you just kind of touched on it, and that was a silencer.
Right.
I thought they were illegal. You can't buy silencers.
You can buy silencers for sure. They are what's called a National Firearms Act item, and you pay a $200 tax stamp. And it's the same thing as buying a full auto machine gun or whatever. It's or a short-barreled rifle or a short-barreled shotgun. You submit a background check. It takes not in California.
I was just going to say, not in California.
But in about 47 other states. And you submit your background check, your fingerprints, and it comes back, and then it's just an NFA item, and it's just something that's kind of registered.
And, you brought up another good point. That is 47 states.
Not 49, 47.
No, it's like most of them, all of them allow for suppressors. And because, a lot of people think on the movies that you're just going to hear this.
Now, is it a suppressor? Is it a suppressor or a silencer, or is that both the same?
Well, it's a silencer, a suppressor. It's
They're basically do the same thing?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Because it doesn't silence the gun.
It does not.
First of all, well, it's louder than that. It's like a Brad gun. It's what it's going to sound like.
Oh, okay.
It's still loud.
It's like a nail gun.
Right. Yeah, it's still loud. It's not that loud.
Right. You can go without hearing protection.
Yeah, but it's still loud.
Yeah.
But especially on a rifle, because what people don't understand is even if you, like an AR, even if you suppress your AR, it helps, it helps the environment because it releases less gas into the air.
Gotcha.
It helps the environment because it's less noise pollution. But you still, it's still that weapon is still supersonic. That bullet is still supersonic when it comes out of the barrel, no matter what. So you're going to get the loud crack when it breaks the sound barrier. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's not like you're not going to be able to hit that gun anymore.
It's like, I think a regular, what's about 130 decibels, something like that. A regular, without a suppressor. I think with a suppressor will bring it down about 30 or 40 decibels.
Right. Yeah.
So you're still talking about like 90 decibels, which is like a jet engine.
Right. Yeah. It's you can get them as low as I've seen some suppressors. And again, depending on what caliber.
Yeah, the caliber
too.
Right.
Like a 45, a 230 grain 45 bullet is subsonic by nature, so they're really easy to suppress. And for those, you can get those down as low as like 60 decibels.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but like a 308, you're going to be running about 80 decibels. And then anything over 80 decibels, they say use double hearing protection.
Gotcha. And Bristol Motor Speedway last night was 140 decibels.
Yeah, definitely need double hearing protection.
Yikes!
140
Unreal.
decibels.
Did you see the big wreck today in Indy?
No, I did with what's his face.
Yeah,
not good.
Not good. Yeah,
but he's okay.
It took like an hour to rebuild the wall.
All right, getting back to guns.
All right.
Did you see that divert?
Yeah.
So, do you know of to talk about piston and gas impingement? Do you know of a product that will convert your gas impingement to a piston that's good and reliable and worth it?
I don't have one off the top of my head, but they are out there.
Yeah.
And you get them, you take them to a good gunsmith, take them over to Trident Gunsmithing. I remember the gun range San Diego. And let Alex work on it, and they can install those. Or, everybody's buying everybody's building their own these days anyway, because they want this, they want that. And you can buy a complete pistoned upper from a lot of companies.
Oh, that's good.
If I was going to buy one, I would either buy it from Wilson Combat or LWRC. Those are my two favorite piston makers. And I think that, it's the biggest bang for your buck going through like Land Warfare Resource Center. I mean, HK makes one, but you're going to be paying about twice the price, that kind of thing.
And speaking of purchases, I bought that Ruger PC9.
Oh, isn't that fun?
Yeah, so it's in jail right now. It's in the 10-day hold.
Right.
But what an amazing deal. So this thing, it shoots a 9mm, so it's got stopping power. It shoots it. It's right on target. But also, too, it takes Glock magazines.
Glock
magazines.
Glock mags,
yes.
Or Ruger mags.
Or Ruger mags. Yeah. And then you turn this ring, and it breaks in two, and you put it in your bag. And
it's basically like a 10-22 breakdown, but in 9mm.
Yes. And I love that caliber.
They take Glock pistol mags, and you have this great no-recoil 9mm rifle. Super fun.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. The Answer. Franklin, my man. All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. We had absolutely nothing to do with that music choice. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
I thought it was beautiful.
I knew you.
Very, very refined.
Oh,
Tim.
Please,
thank you.
Look at you too.
Very refined. Listen to him. Timmy's playing something.
Timmy's taking care of us.
I know.
Timmy's
on
the
fire
man
today.
Timmy is the man. So, do you or any of your family keep a firearm or a weapon? Well, guess what? You need help, especially if you get yourselves in the backseat of a police car. Well, for $10, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, firearmslegal.com will take care of all of your legal needs. 469-310-9100. And I just found out that John Dillon, our very own John Dillon, is on the board of Firearms Legal Protection. You very well may get that guy. You may have to tip him because he's that good. So check these guys out. Firearmslegal.com, firearmslegal.com. All right. Hey, we've got a special guest on the line from Spy Optics.
No, he's not from Spy Optics.
It says Spy Optics.
That was Mark last week. We have Paul Lichtenstein.
Oh, we forgot to scratch the Spy Optic off. I did. I'm sorry. And so introduce this gentleman.
Paul's such a great guy in his group.
He won't yell at me?
And for some reason, he I don't know, has a lot of patience and allows me to shoot with him. So I've been heading up to that Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, conveniently located in Alpine, California.
I hear him.
And on Saturdays, I get there about 7 o'clock to kind of help set up. And then I bring 5 magazines with me. I shoot that TRP, just an old 45. And these guys, there's some really
it's great 45.
Just an old
great,
45.
Yeah, what's this?
Great shooters and me.
$1,800
And then so Paul's nice enough to come on and talk about it because he loves having more people up there. And if you haven't done this before, please come up there. If you've done it before or whatever, considering it. But Paul, really appreciate you.
$15
calling it $15. I mean,
you can't even buy lunch for $15.
Just help put the stuff away, okay, Dave? Paul, you there? Paul. Did he call in?
He's on the line. Hey, Paul, wake up.
Yeah, I'm here.
I know. What were you doing, shooting?
Yeah, I was dreaming. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, well, you're entitled. You're living in Alpine. It's okay.
That's great, man. So fill us in again on all this great stuff you do. I know you do it south at the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun. You're also up at beautiful Fallbrook, California, with my buddy Harold up there.
Yep. Yeah, so match director, along with several other people for 2 different organizations. The Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club you're referring to, we just had a great match yesterday. We call it a hybrid pistol match.
Because I wasn't there.
No, you would have loved it.
I know.
We had so much fun.
Yep.
It was incredible. 4 stages of steel targets combined with paper targets.
Dang it.
Using the I-Core format. The I-Core is the International Confederation of Revolver Enthusiasts. So their viewpoint of the world is a little different than IDPA style shooting, which is based on the concealed carry, shoot from cover type of scenario. So it's a little more open and easier to administer. But boy, we have a great time. So yesterday we had 4 good stages. Lasted about 3 hours or so. About 30 people, and everybody had a good time. Next Saturday at Pala, which is the other shooting range that we are match directors for, me and several other people run that one also, is an IDPA style match. That's the International Defensive Pistol Association side of the house. We are called San Diego Tactical Shooters in that venue. And we teach people, let me say this up front first. It's not all about shooting. Both venues that we are match directors for, we teach people safe gun handling practices.
Yes, you do.
That's the main thrust. That's it right there. Everything else that comes from that flows from being able to handle your gun in a safe and efficient manner is fun.
Yeah, and it's great that you're providing this time for people, and I mean, you guys have all been great friends for a long time, but we're trying to encourage people to get out of the ranges and come up and see you, right, Mike?
Absolutely. I got to tell you, I was nowhere near as comfortable as I thought I was with my pistol until after I started shooting IDPA. IDPA really gets you comfortable with a firearm, and it's kind of one of those, you don't know what you don't know, and you get out there and everybody's so friendly, everybody's so accommodating. It's just kind of taking your practice up to the next level, I believe.
Yeah, that's the great thing about both the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club and the San Diego Tactical Shooters is as long as I've been associated with both, we take novices and brand new people, and we take pride in being able to show them how to handle their gun safely and efficiently. And that's the main thing for us. That's our main thrust. Like I said, everything else from that is a lot of fun, but the big thing is safe handling of those firearms. And nobody is there to laugh at you, even if it's your first match. And we just had a gentleman who was shooting for the first time with us yesterday, and there's nobody who said, "Oh, what a dummy, you can't do anything." Everybody sought to give him the correct instruction and the correct equipment and the correct gun handling and everything else, sight picture, trigger pull, you name it. Yeah, they all rally around and do that so that the new guy isn't so new after a while and becomes a very efficient and safe person to handle a gun.
Yeah, and just to clarify, it's not a class, it's a competition, but you definitely learn a lot. It's kind of like in basketball, it's like a regular range, with a lane is like practicing your free throws, but IDPA and the other competitions that you guys do, it's like going and finding a pickup game, and that's where you really get to refine your skills, and everybody's super helpful and nice.
Yeah, and the best thing about it is it's a you on one. It's you.
Yeah.
When it's your turn to shoot, you are the only shooter on that stage, and it's all you. So you and the range safety officer is your shadow, and make sure you don't do anything inappropriate with the gun while you're running through the stage. And it's movement. It's not static. You're actually moving. You're retreating. You're going forward. You're moving to the right or left, whichever way you need to go to engage the targets in the proper order. So it's a dynamic thing. It's not standing there and loading the magazine and shooting 6 rounds at the target at 12 yards. It's variable distances, and you're moving around through the stage, shooting different targets at different ranges. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, we appreciate what you do, and we're all in this together. We've got Mike Schwartz, San Diego County Gun Owners, Gun Sports Radio. Make sure and tell your crew if they're not members over there, because a lot of guys that have been shooting for a while, they belong to a lot of great groups, but San Diego County Gun Owners has really been putting the pedal to the metal every time we say, "Hey, man, can you get a CCW?"
Now you can. Now the answer is just, "Hey, Paul, who's the best shooter up there? I'm putting you on the spot. Who's the best?"
Say you, Paul.
Dave
say you.
Nunley.
Oh, no. I tell you what, I shoot a lot, but I am just an average shooter. There are guys there that are masters, literally rated master, and they are just you just have to watch them to believe that people can handle a gun that quickly and that accurately.
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind is does Bill Go still? Does he shoot up there with you guys?
No, but there's R.J. Aguirre.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know that guy.
You ever seen him shoot a revolver? You would think he was shooting a semi-automatic.
Truly, I mean, he's such a good dude. RJ is such a good guy, and he's such a, off the range, he's such a clown and fun to be around. But, man, you put a revolver in his hands, and he goes to work. He's an absolute expert and, a professional and a gentleman and a scholar and a fine judge of Scotch. He's wonderful.
Yeah. And we have a bunch of others who are excellent. Kevin Margetta is an outstanding revolver shooter. Brian Thomas, Kerry Standifer, who is just let me give you a little insight here. This is not a young guy sport only. I'm 67, and I shoot with 75-year-olds that just beat me all the time. Kerry Standifer is in his 70s. He is a rated master in I-Corps. If you ever seen him handle a six-shooter, I say, I want to be just like him in 10 years when I'm his age. I want to be that good.
You're right. Truly, you see guys in their 20s, you see guys in their 30s, 40s, all the way up to their 70s, and it doesn't matter. There are some average guys that are older. There are some average guys that are younger, but
absolutely.
It really is kind of a,
it's not just a young man's sport.
Not at all.
You want to compete? Come on out and do your stuff. There's a lot of us old guys out there, old gray-haired guys that you look at that and go, geez, I didn't know your guys are that good.
And it's not just a man's sport, too. I see a lot of women out there.
We love having women. In fact, Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club does a quarterly NRA-sponsored function called Women on Target. The next one is in October, where we have range safety officers for shotgun, rifle, and pistol. And we man all three ranges, and we have about 15 or 16 of each of the different types, have about 45 women sign up. NRA pays for everything as far as all the ammo. We bring our own guns, and each woman at each stage, whether she's shooting rifle, pistol, or shotgun, has an individual range officer with her, showing her the basics of handgun handling and shooting, and then we let them shoot at targets with using real live ammo under our strict supervision. And I tell you, they come out of there, they have such a good time. Oh, and let me say, it's prefaced by a 1-hour safety brief by 2 range safety officer ladies.
All right. Hey, Paul, Paul, thank you very much. I hate to run you, but unfortunately they're going to pull the plug on us. So thanks a lot for calling in, and we'll get more people up there. And, hey, folks, we really want to thank all our sponsors, San Diego County Gun Owners, Gun Range San Diego, CA Firearms Law, Firearms Legal, Trident Gunsmithing, Cali Key. They're all great. Check them out. Go to info@Gunsports Radio if you want to chat with us. Hey, I'm Dave. He's Lance. He's Mike. He's Joe. We're out of here.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.